Welcome, everybody. We are going to give folks just one more minute to join us, and then we'll start our program today. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How about
Good.
you?
Good. Thanks for joining.
I'm glad to do it.
Yeah.
No snow in Pierre?
You know, we have quite a bit piled up out there, but we're hoping it can kind of start melting a little bit. Lots of big piles. How about you?
We have a lot. We probably only got about 16 inches compared to the rest of the state, but still, you have to find a place to put it, and
Right.
it sure takes its time in melting.
Right. Well, I think we've got everybody that's jumped on right now in the room here. So I think we'll get started. Again, welcome everybody. We are today talking about engaging youth in philanthropy, and we're fortunate to have Gail Wookie with the Clark Area Foundation and the Huron Youth Leadership Council with us today. So thanks for taking the time to be with us and share your successes and maybe even some of your challenges that you've had through your programs. So I think we're going to start today just with some housekeeping items. So everybody is on mute. Hopefully by this point, we all kind of know how to use that unmute button if you have any questions. We do want to keep it pretty conversational. So if you do have a question, please jump in, or we have a couple staff members that are watching that chat box. So please type in your questions there. And we'll be reserving time at the end of each of the speakers for questions. So keep those in mind as we go if you want to ask them out loud. And this is recorded. So if you have any advisory council members that want to watch it at a later date, we'll make that available to you. And with that, we will start with the Huron Youth Leadership Council. And I'm honored to introduce them. Today we have Rhonda Clute, that's their mentor at the Huron Youth Leadership Council, Jake Holforty, Noah Beck, and Elizabeth Estrada. So we're very excited that they could be here with us. Their mission is to offer unique opportunities to build strong leadership and engage the next generation of civic-minded community members. So back in 2000, their council created an endowment with us here at the South Dakota Community Foundation to provide financial support to their organization and other charitable causes in their community. So both the local United Way and the Kristen Home Lusk Foundation provided startup funding to get the organization started. And since that time, their fund has received over $42,000 in gifts and granted over $32,000 to nonprofits and their own organization through their endowed fund. So we're very glad that we can partner with them. I would be remiss in not mentioning that the Huron Youth Leadership Council received the 2022 South Dakota Association of Fundraising Professionals Outstanding Youth in Philanthropy Award last year. So this award recognizes service by an individual or individuals ages 10 to 23 who demonstrate outstanding commitment to the community through direct financial support, development of charitable programs, volunteering, and leadership in philanthropy. So we're grateful again to have them with us today. Thank you for your time, and I'll turn it over to Rhonda.
Okay, forgive me, I'm operating out of my car in Sioux Falls today. So I'm getting acclimated to all the Zoom meeting features on a phone rather than a computer. I've been involved with the Youth Leadership Council in Huron since the inception. It was many years ago, over 20 years ago, when I was the director of our United Way. And like Jamie said, we provided some of the startup funding for the group to get started. It became an organization under the auspices of the United Way while I was the director of the United Way. And we reorganized and restructured the organization to what it is today. It used to be called the Huron Youth Advisory Council, and we changed that name and changed the focus to make it a youth leadership group. And we have 3 pillars of the organization that the students are going to talk about here in a little bit. But we have grown by leaps and bounds since the organization began. And I feel the main reason that has happened is because of our close relationship with the Huron School District. Another one of our mentors is a very, very vivacious and outgoing high school teacher. And she is just adored by all of the students and is such a proponent and advocate of helping kids find ways to be engaged in the community. So I just think the reason that it is so successful is because of what the students have done and how passionate they are about being future leaders in our community and in our state and in our country. So with that, I would like to have the students explain their thoughts on why they enjoy being involved with HYLC.
Hi, my name is Jake Holfordy. I'm the student council or the Huron Youth Leadership Council president this year. And something we do is we keep the youth engaged in our community, and we keep the youth in our Huron Youth Leadership Council engaged. And the way we do this is we have weekly after-school program Washington mentor programs. So what we do is we have students in HYLC go out to Washington School. It's our 4th and 5th grade center in Huron. And in their after-school program from around 3:30 to 5:30, 5 o'clock, we have our HYLC students connect with the students at the Washington School. And that's one way we keep engaged with our community, because the youth has a connection. Having a high schooler versus a teacher interact with the student is different, because high schoolers were once in the same position that these after school program students were. I was in the TAP after school program. So seeing that now, however many years later, it's pretty cool to interact with those kids. So that's one way we keep engaged.
And I think HYLC as a sort of a club at our school has become the club to be in. We do a lot of community service work, which may not be as appealing to a freshman coming up, but in recent years, we have made giving back fun. And the numbers have shown that too. HYLC has grown to over 50 participants this year, and the students just love helping out.
And I think even though it's called Huron Youth Leadership Council, if you weren't born with the natural leadership abilities, through HYLC, you're able to kind of meet people in the community and help out people to the point where you practice those skills. And I know for me personally, I'm very shy. I started out not knowing how to do this stuff efficiently, but now I'm sitting here being able to talk about all of it through volunteer work and through meeting different people in our community.
So we should also mention that the 3 pillars of HYLC are volunteerism, community involvement, and philanthropy. And with those 3 pillars, the kids mentioned a little bit about what they do. You know, their volunteer efforts, of course, they go back and they are mentors at the elementary schools, but they deliver Meals on Wheels on a regular basis. They volunteer for our Chamber of Commerce, directing parades and, you know, Harvest Festival, different chamber events that go on. They're a highly sought after group of volunteers in the community, not only by United Way and the United Way programs that that the kids participate in, but a lot of community programs. They're going to be working with the Red Cross this month and helping with the pillowcase project, where the Red Cross will go into each elementary school for the after school program and help the kids develop a safe escape pillowcase, if you will. It's all under the auspices of the Red Cross. That's just one more thing that they're going to be doing this week. The community engagement piece has really developed too. And with that, we match high school students to community boards that they may have an interest in. We have students who serve on the Humane Society Board, the Domestic Violence Center Board, the Huron Regional Medical Center Foundation Board. The Huron Community Foundation Board has 2 youth board members. United Way, Chamber of Commerce, they're just any nonprofit or any organization in the community that would like to have youth input reaches out to the HYLC.
And we have our 3 pillars, starting with volunteerism.
Yeah, so I'm the volunteer coordinator for HYLC. So there's so many different ways the students can volunteer in our community. Just a few are working with adults with Meals on Wheels, or going to the elementary school for Washington Mentors, or helping out at our fundraiser every year that we do for the Christmas concert. There's Believe Fest, National Night Out. There's just so many different ways that the students can be involved, and it really keeps them connected with the club at school and even with their community.
The pillar that I like to talk about is community involvement. I am the community board's liaison. So my job is to make a spreadsheet. I have a huge spreadsheet of all of the community boards and who serves on them and when the meetings are. And so it's really grown. We now have 36 students on 26 different boards in the Huron community. Rhonda mentioned a few of those. Jake and I serve on the United Way board. Elizabeth serves on the Habitat for Humanity board and the public library. And so it really gives the students a firsthand look at the ins and outs of community government and what makes a community tick.
And next up, I talk about philanthropy. And what we do in HYLC is we recognize the importance of giving from the youth to the youth, which is why we host our annual holiday concert, which is pictured in here. This was after the concert last year. And for the past 2 years, we've actually invited students, alumni of HYLC, to perform a concert this year and last year. And this year, to make it different than last year, we had some of our own HYLC members sing at that concert. And it is a free will donation concert because we seek out sponsorships previous to the concert. And then from the donations we receive at the concert and the excess sponsorships, we grant that money in March to youth-based organizations in our communities, such as People's Transit, Girls on the Run, the Pollinator Project, Prom Committee, Believe Fest, the Royal Family Kids Camp, Middle School Books, and several more. And this year, we raised $3,855 of profit from the sponsorships and the concert. So we're looking forward to giving that out and granting that in March.
I would like to add too that they also receive the interest from their fund at the South Dakota Community Foundation each year to distribute in grants as well. And I think Jamie mentioned the dollar figure that has been distributed since the inception of the program. So they have quite a bit of money that they give away. And the reason they started doing the benefit concert was because they wanted to give out more money, and they had more applicants that they felt worthy than what was coming in from the money at the South Dakota Community Foundation Fund. So that really just made the philanthropy component of the Youth Leadership Council more relevant.
You want to talk about this photo here?
Yes, for sure. So the photo on the left was us in, was that November?
I think so.
I think it was this past November at a Kiwanis meeting, and that was new for all of us, right? We had never been to one, so it was a little different, but it was very cool to see how different organizations form different meetings, but they're all for their own aim and their own profit. So what we did was we talked about our 3 pillars. Each one of us talked about each pillar, and we sought out those sponsorships. And actually at that meeting, we received an anonymous $1,000 sponsorship. So it was very well worth our time. Noah, you want to talk about that second picture?
Yeah, Jake and I are in that picture on the right there. That's one of our monthly United Way meetings. And what we do there as kind of a branch of the United Way is we give reports on what the HYLC does and the volunteer aspect of things. And I think it really impresses the adults when we show up and show that we're having a youth impact in the community.
For sure. And that picture on the left there, that was at the backpack program. So what we do is we meet at our Tiger Activity Center, and we usually form some sort of assembly line based off of how many students we get. And what those students in there are doing is filling each box or bag with one food item, and then they tie the bags up, and then somebody delivers those bags to students, elementary school students that are part of the backpack program.
And
on the-
I'm just going to jump in a minute. The backpack program is our supplemental food program for the community, and that's under the United Way, and the kids spend a lot of time volunteering for that. Not only assembling those bags, but delivering them to the 450 plus students in the Huron community that receive supplemental food items every week.
You want me to go to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So on the picture on the right is the Washington Mentors Program. And so the person reading the book is an HYLC student, and there's different activities that you do when you go to the after school program. You could either read to the kids, or sometimes they do other activities like making slime or just paper mache stuff. And the students really help out the teachers and the little elementary kids as well. And they have a really fun time there. They always talk about how great it is to work with kids and being able to interact with them. And those students really look at the high school students as role models. I remember being one of those little kids and always being so happy and excited whenever the high schoolers would show up. And it's great to be able to bring that positivity to the elementary schools.
For sure. And I believe there's more pictures of what we've done recently. Yes, right here. There's a couple of us playing games with the kids. And this was last month, right?
Yep. So we have around 4 or 5 students every week go to the schools and hang out with the kids, have a good old time.
Yeah, they look like they're having fun. That's for sure. Yeah, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that we were able to nominate the Huron Youth Leadership Council for this award, and so we're very excited that we can partner with them, and you should be very proud of all that you've done. So
Thank you.
Thank you for the partnership. Is there any questions for the students or Rhonda?
So I have one.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
For the students, for Elizabeth, Noah, and Jake, what's your best recruiting tool? How do you get kids to sign up?
So what we did this year especially, we've always done this, but for some reason this year we had a better turnout. We had a welcome back sort of, it's usually around the first week of school during both lunch periods, because at Huron we have so many students and not enough room in our cafeteria, so we have to go in 2 different lunches. But in both lunch periods, we find HYLC members to sit at a table with an HYLC type of brochure. And what we do is we encourage them to sign up. And I know this year we had a lot more participation because we went around to the tables and we almost kind of shoved it in their face, but in a good way, so where they could understand that it really was worth their time to go to a monthly meeting and participate, because of, we told them our own experiences, because we've been in this for 4 years now. So we had a lot to say. And I think it was almost like a chain reaction, having one person sign up, them telling their friend, and then we ended up having a lot of people at our first meeting. Rhonda probably remembers the number. I don't know exactly, but I think close to 70 maybe.
There was a lot.
Yeah, and we have 50
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 70. I remember doing a
I
head
think our
count, and yeah. One thing I want to add is the fact that we, by hit and miss and experience, you try to find a time that works well for students to meet. And because we are not a school affiliated club, we would have the meetings after school or in the evening, and those just did not work out. These are very active and very busy kids. So as I mentioned in the introduction, we have an extremely wonderful relationship schools. And we were able to take the meeting to the students. So we meet at the high school during their study hall period once a month. So that makes it very easy for the kids to attend meetings. And then it makes it very easy for us. There's only 3 or 4 of us mentors that have to travel to the high school and have the meeting at that time. And these guys are the officers. They run a very efficient and well-organized meeting. We're done in a half hour. Our district superintendent attended their last meeting, and I think he was so impressed with the way they get down to business, get things done. There isn't a lot of downtime. So I think that was a huge, huge thing for us. And we started doing that maybe 10 years ago, meeting at the high school, which has been huge. So developing a relationship with the school district, I think, has been phenomenal.
And I think as we continue to grow, our reputation has become our recruiting tool. The more students that are involved with HYLC and have a positive experience, they tell their friends, hey, you should do this. This is fun. And I hope that continues after we graduate. And I'm seeing good things in the future of this organization.
Well, you should be really proud. I do have a question. So why do you think it's important to engage young people and encourage them to be a part of the giving back and philanthropy in a community?
I'm
Well-
just going to say one sentence, because they are our future, and we have to invite them to our table so they can take over and be the future leaders. And kids, you can add whatever you wish.
Well, right now as a senior currently, I'm working on scholarship applications, and they always ask, how are you involved in your community, or have you volunteered? And they ask that for a reason. And it's because through volunteer work and community service, I have gained so many skills and so many professional relationships with people in the community. And it really helps you grow, especially in high school. I think it's very important. And I can't stress enough how much it has helped me with my communication, with professionalism, responsibility. I think it's a very important factor.
And not only has this helped Elizabeth, but what she's done has helped other people. Everything we do is positivity. And the more we can learn how to make that positivity, the more potential there is for us to teach even the people younger than us how to do that same thing, so it continues. We're just another source of teaching, I'd say. We have this potential to show people what we can do, so.
Cool. Nora, do you have anything to add?
No, I think those guys got it.
Okay, they pretty much covered it. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, are there any other questions? Thank you so much, guys, for your time and all that you do for Huron. You're pretty impressive. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll turn it over to Pat.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. I'm Pat Gallagher. I'm the Community Development Coordinator. I'm based in Aberdeen. I work in northeastern South Dakota. And one of the communities I work with is Clark and Clark County. And I have been lucky enough to make it to a few Clark Foundation advisory council meetings and to see the involvement of the students there. So I'm going to turn it over to Gail Wookie, the president of the foundation. And in just a second, because I meant to mention that Clark Area Community Foundation has been a community savings account with the SDCF for almost 20 years now, and have put about $300,000 back in the community with their grants over those years. And I know the students have been involved in a lot of those decisions for some time now. So I'll turn it over to Gail to talk about the program and why they're involving students. So Gail, take it away.
Okay, well, thanks, Pat, for inviting me. Like Pat said, we've been a community foundation for close to 20 years now, and we got our students involved 10 years ago. And the reason we to be honest with you, the reason we wanted to have our local youth be involved was to help us with some of our projects and keep us technical skills. Some I don't have, like Twitter and all those Facebook things, and kids anymore know so much about how to do things, get on Facebook, do social media, things like that. So we started by going to the school, and we thought we were going to start with the juniors. So we actually went to the sophomores probably in March or April and asked if we could get 1 or 2 students involved in our community foundation and kind of explain what our foundation was. And so we ended up getting that year only one person kind of was interested. And so then the next year we went back and got another one. So now we had a senior and a junior representing the school for a foundation, and they became board members. So they've helped us with fundraising, volunteering. So as a board, we thought, let's see if we, could do this. And so we actually have an application that now actually it's up to this kids to go, our students to go back into their school, and they talk to the sophomore class. So right now we do have 3 students. We got 2 juniors and 1 senior. And so we actually have an application that the sophomores fill out. And one of the things is by serving on our board, they will get scholarships. So every year they're on our board, they get a $500 scholarship. And we've talked about raising that, because anymore $500 doesn't buy you much. So that's how we kind of got our juniors and seniors part of our board, just because we needed help with different things. So I'm going to talk about how long they serve their 2 years on the board, and that's part of the application, is that they have to serve the 2 years. And so like this year we had over 10 people wanting on the board just because of the scholarships, and have seen what these students have done. As most of you know, as a senior, they have to come up with one of the things is a senior project. So that's one thing that some of the seniors have come to us for the Community Foundation to help them with their senior projects. And so just for an instant, one of the seniors asked if they could come up with it's called the Clark Cyclone comfort closet. And so what it is that it's a closet that they've developed, but in that closet there could be a coat, there could be a hat, there could be scarves. It's for kids to come to. They can go there and get personal items, toothpaste, deodorant, even soap, if they didn't have it at home. But they can go to this closet and they can take whatever they want, take it home. So that was one of the projects that the senior came up, one of the seniors came up, and as a foundation, we did support that. And another senior had come up with a blanket. She had every senior in her class making blankets, and then they went out to, we call it our local ICAP, distributed blankets to ICAP that they could give out to people. They went to people that were kind of in the shelter area and gave to that. So that was another project that came out. But these youth, it's just been tremendous what they have done for our board. And on the next slide, well, this slide, maybe I'll talk about that slide. We'll go back to that other slide that you did have there. Sorry about that, Jamie. This one right here. This was this year for the last 3 years, we've done the Day of Giving. Our community foundation has been a part of the Day of Giving. And this year I said to these three kids in the background, you'll see them. There's Summer, there's Connor, and Novea. And I said, I want you guys to become a part of this Day of Giving with us. And I need you to let's get the school involved. And I said, but it's up to you guys. You go ahead and you try to get the school involved in this Day of Giving. And so that was back in September. Well, they came the next month, October. They said, Gail, is it okay if we do a penny war? Well, I didn't know what a penny war was. So I said, you bet. You guys go ahead. You do a fundraiser. So they made the posters. They had cans and told the kids, hey, if we do this penny war, the winning team will win a pizza party. Well, that's all you had to say. Was to have a pizza party. So these kids in our Clark school, it ended up raising close to $1,500 for the Day of Giving. And this first grade class was the winning class. So these kids put together a big pizza party for them. That was they were just so excited. I'd bought 6 big pizzas and they ate them all. So it was just a fun day for these kids. And now the next slide that we have up, this is actually one of our students, and this kind of really sums up what it is to be on the foundation, that she's been honored to be served on this amazing board. Being a student in the high school, being on the board has opened me to being more involved in my community for the sake of giving back. This foundation has paid contributions to programs such as FCCLA and my job site at the pool, both of which are in part of, well as many other projects in the community. And she just goes on to say what being on this board has meant to her in giving back to these projects and keeping our town booming, and thank the foundation. This gal is also the gal who, one of our students who I wanted a different pamphlet. And so she actually developed this pamphlet that explains what our community foundation is. It explains how you can give to the foundation. And so she developed that. I went to knowing how to do it. It didn't cost us anything, just her knowledge. So these kids have, has really helped our community foundation and brought our it's just a joy to have them. They they're very curious. They're not afraid to ask questions or voice their opinions. And that's kind of what is great about having the youth on our board. This year we decided to kind of challenge these 3 board members, and so we meet once a month, on a Wednesday morning at 7:30, and these 3 kids are they're probably the first ones there. So this year we decided we're going to do something different. And so we are giving these kids up to $10,000. They have to come up with a project, or they have to see a need in our community and then come up with a grant. And then they'll bring this back to the whole board and we'll vote on it. But if there's a really big need that they see, that they would like to support, it could be, something with the softball program or some, whatever they have decided. So these 3, we are actually handing them some money and saying, you come up with where you think the best nonprofit organization could use to improve something in our community. So that's something new that we came up with. Some of these youth are really good at, hey, can you come up with a fundraiser? And one of them said, how about we have a golf tournament? I said, yeah, let's have I was a big golfer, and she loved to golf. So she said, let's get something going. So she actually went out and got 27 local community members to sponsor a 3-man team. And they paid $300 each sponsor. And then so we ended up having 20 some teams. And these kids showed up, and some did the putting contest, some did, it was just outstanding. And we ended up raising close to $10,000 for our community foundation to put back into our fund. So that was one thing that these students. So one of the questions is, why do you think it's important to have young people involved in leadership? And I agree with Rhonda. The young people are our future, and we need them to help us see the importance of what a leader is, what our foundation is all about, and how it became, how our foundation became because of 10 local people in our community stepped up and became leaders to get our foundation. And so we're hoping that these kids have learned something by being on our foundation, and maybe hopefully some of them move back to Clark and can take over and be on the board and continue, since they started from when they were kids. And so that's kind of, I was mom a lot quicker than Rhonda. So does anybody have any questions about how we get our kids involved? And
Gail, just one question I have is, you mentioned about students coming back, your student board members coming back to Clark. I mean, are you hearing from them after they've done their terms on the boards, and are they getting involved so far? I mean, it's only been 10 years, so it's not a lot of time in somebody to start a career, but
right. I do hear from them when they come back to Clark for potato days, and they always come up to me, and there is some that are interested in coming back. One is going to be a minister, and he loved being on our board. And so hopefully that's what, you know, you need that enthusiasm with your foundation in that. So yeah. So it's been great. Some of these kids have done very well in college and become leaderships in their colleges. Like one of the students even became, I don't know, vice president of their student council or something like that. So I think it does help them with their leadership. So yeah.
And they are full voting members of the board, right?
They really are, yes. And they voice their opinion. They're not afraid to say, you know, someone is, because we get a lot of the seniors who do come trying to get funds to support their senior projects, you know. What, you know, and these students are very vocal. They'll go, I don't think we need anything like that, or that doesn't, you know, they're good at voicing their opinion. And we ask them, we just come out and say, how do you feel about this? You know, and they're very good about that. And to help, we just put on a big burger feed, and all three of them one was grilling the burgers, the other two were serving the food. So yeah, and that's what, you know, it seems like the older generation, they don't want to have to do all the work as much as, and that's one good thing about having youth, is they love to get out there and help with things. There's times where we do give somebody a grant, and I'll ask them, I said, hey, can you go take the picture and so we can get it in the Clark? Sure, you know, so they help out a lot that way.
Okay.
So
are there other questions?
You know, I was going to ask, is there anyone on the webinar that has student advisory council members or is looking into that? I would love to hear. Maybe no one. Maybe they're thinking about it, right?
Susan, you've been looking at it, haven't you?
What's that, Jay?
We do have one junior. While we interview them when they're juniors, and then they're on the board their entire senior year, I guess we do one. We've done that for as long as I've been on the board. I guess seems to work out pretty good. Kind of like everybody else has said, they just come with a different perspective, different angle of things, and they run our Facebook page too for us. So they're tech savvy and works out good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jay is with the Armor Community Foundation. Thanks for sharing, Jay.
I'm Lori. I'm in the Hill City Area Community Foundation. We're really new, so I'm always anxious to hear what other people are doing and finding success in this. And I can just see that this information will be very helpful. I appreciate everybody that's contributed to this, and I've taken some notes, and I'll be bringing it to our group and as another thought as we build our foundation. So thank you, Gail and Rhonda and the kids from the school.
Yep.
Thanks for coming, Lori.
Mhm.
That was all I had, Pat, unless anyone else wants to share.
I would just add that I know Langford has at least one student on there serving on their board as well. So I think there are others out there. So. And so it sounds like there aren't any other questions. Jamie, were you going to finish up or was I?
Yeah. Well, you know, I just wanted to throw this slide in here. We are going to have our next Lunch and Learn opportunity on Tuesday, February 7th with Stephanie Judson, our president and CEO. She is going to give the State of the Foundation presentation. So if you'd like to register, you can go to this link listed at the bottom here. And please register by the 6th of February. And with that, I think we can wrap up. So
Thanks, all.
yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.